What's going on, you guys? TBR here, and in today's video we are going to be testing the newest SS Volume 3 card set and running it through its paces. Is it any good? We're going to find out in today's video, as we are going to be testing it against some of the other top card sets available currently in the game for just general PvE purposes, and comparing apples to apples to see just how well this newest card set performs. Is it going to be worth your hard-earned rubies? We're going to find out in today's video, but first, before we get into all of that and more, if you guys are new here and you enjoy daily King of Fighters Allstar content such as this, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe. And let's go ahead and get into today's video, because it has been a while since we have done one of these types of videos comparing these different card sets against each other. So we're going to go ahead and get through the basics, figure out what it is that this card set has to offer us, then we're going to go through the different rules that are going to go into these tests, and then we're going to get into the tests themselves. So let's go ahead and get into it. So first up here, let's get everybody caught up to speed on what these card sets do. So this is the Bring Some Ice Cream set, the newest set to be added in with SS Volume 3, and it is going to increase the attack of your fighters by 7% per card, or 21% total, with an increase to special signature fighters burn and chill damage by 75%, and it increases the damage by 20% for 5 seconds when a special signature fighter lands an active skill on a cooldown of 10 seconds. So overall, this card set, while looking very good on paper, is going to have a few drawbacks, because obviously you are going to need to attach it to a special signature fighter, and then preferably a special signature fighter with burn or chill. And of course there are plenty of options out there specifically for burn, such as SS Kyo, SS K, SS Honoka, SS Mai, so on and so forth. And then of course with chill, right now we just have SS Kula, but we are going to be using SS Honoka today for these damage comparisons, but we'll come back to that. Now the card sets that we are going to be comparing this to are of course going to be the Gears of Fate set. The Gears of Fate set is extremely popular for things such as Immortals, and so therefore we are going to be comparing it against this one as well. It's kind of just a third option. I decided to choose this one over Leah just because there is less RNG associated with it. And then if we move on here, of course the King of Kings when it comes to just generalized PvE content in general is going to be a Day of Happiness or an Akane set. Now of course this is the set that we expect to overachieve and to be the winner of this damage test, and that would not be anything too surprising considering the fact that the Akane set has been the queen of card sets for quite a while for general PvE content. But we're going to see how much of a difference it actually makes against these other two sets in today's video, and we are of course, as I had mentioned to you guys previously, going to be using SS Honoka for these tests. Of course she is an SS character, so that is going to be part of the reason we're using her, but she also does feature burn on her kit. So what we're going to do is just a simple test against the spider robot. We're going to wait for our awakening rotation to come up, we're going to drop in our Hotaru striker to drop the shield on the spider, and then we're going to go through 28 total skills on our awakening rotation, and starting with S1, ending with S1, just to see what the overall damage difference is between these card sets. Now as far as the rules that are going into this, I did 10 runs per card set, and I am using double maximum cooldown reduction cards for my option cards. All these runs were done using SS Honoka. There are 28 total skills per rotation used, again starting with S1 and ending with S1. These example runs that I chose were based on overall average and a representation of the runs conducted. So these are going to be an average run that I show you guys in this video. I'm not going to show you all 10 runs per card set. And then this test is also designed to test the differences in the set card damage in the same environment, and is not intended nor meant to be testing the best possible cards, rotations, etc. for SS Honoka. If you guys want me to do a video on that, going through different rotations, giving you guys damage differences between them, which rotations are going to give you the best overall damage outcomes, which card sets, which card rotations, and so on and so forth are going to be the best. We can talk about that in the comments section if you guys want to see videos like that in the future. but in today's video, all we are worried about is putting these cards in the same environment, under the same rules, and just seeing what ends up happening as far as the raw overall numbers, and that is going to give us a good overall outlook on what the difference is going to be between these sets as far as overall damage output, and then we can go ahead and kind of get a good idea as to whether or not the Bring Some Ice Cream set is going to be worth your hard-earned rubies. So that is going to be the parameters of today's tests. So without further ado, you guys, let's go ahead and get into the damage tests. So of course, starting off here, it's only right that we start off with the Bring Some Ice Cream card set itself, and I'm going to show you guys 2 clips that I chose out of the 10 clips per card set in this video, just so that way you guys get a good idea of how these performed. But as you guys can see on screen, I did do 10 runs a piece for this set, as well as the subsequent sets after this that we're going to take a look at. The high-end average ended up being 74 million across these runs, with a low end of 71 million and an average of 73 million. So as you guys can see here, this 73.7 million is a good average aggregate number of these 10 runs that I performed doing this test. And again, I will show you guys one more clip using this same card set, and again, we are using the double maxima cooldown reduction option cards, so that way there isn't anything muddying the waters, and we did go ahead and use that on all 3 of these card tests, so you guys will be seeing pretty much apples to apples comparisons here. But again, 28 skill rotations on the Awakening, starting with the S1, ending with the S1, and on this one we ended up doing about 72.4 million, so this is a good low-end average number for this clip here. So that is going to be the Bring Some Ice Cream card sets numbers. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the next card set in these comparisons, which is of course going to be the Gears of Fate set. Now the Gears of Fate set is not the only card set of its ilk, so there are going to be other sets out there that are very similar, so you guys can kind of take this as you will. But as you guys can see here, the high-end average for this card set was around 75 million, with a low end of 72 and an average of 73. So overall, this card set and the Bring Some Ice Cream card set numerically very, very comparable. Now this card set was outputting just a little bit more damage on average, but not very much. It's a very negligible difference, and this is why when I say to you guys that there is a ton of parity in these card sets as far as their performance whenever they drop, this is why, because if you do these types of tests and these types of tests or things that you guys are into, you're probably going to notice that these card sets on average are going to be within a couple million damage of each other. So there's really not a huge massive difference in performance with any of these sets outside of the Akane set, which we're about to get to. But when it comes to the Gears of Fate set, this has always been a very good set card, so this is one that was unsurprising, but again, it did average just above the Bring Some Ice Cream set. Now, when it comes to a Day of Happiness or an Akane set, it shouldn't come as any surprise. This is going to be the card set that is going to be the big performer here. But as you guys can see, a high-end average was 76 million with a low end of 73 million, and the average in the 10 runs that I did was 75 million. So again, a couple million damage difference here between these card sets. However, this Akane set is of course going to be the big winner. The Akane set is typically going to be just the best overall card set for generalized PvE purposes, unless you are going to be tagging in and out, at which point of course you are probably going to want to go with a Serena set. But when it comes to just general PvE content, Akane has been the queen of card sets forever, and of course the Bring Some Ice Cream card set has not done anything to change that fact. So in the end, you guys, unsurprisingly, the Akane set is the big winner. However, the nice takeaway from this is the fact that the Bring Some Ice Cream card set, while not necessarily being able to match the pace or outpace the Akane set, is very, very close to its performance. But with all of that being said, let's go ahead and head into our final thoughts and put all of that together. So I'm sure someone out there is going to ask me, why didn't I use the DOA set as a comparable as well? Well, the reason why I did not use the DOA set is because my DOA set is fully maxed out Transcendent level wise, so it would not be an accurate comparable, nor would it be a surprise to know that that card set is probably just going to completely outperform all of these on a Honoka, so take that for what you will. Now, of course, the big takeaway here is that the Akane set is still the queen. This is not a surprise. Again, this is something we expected going into this. Now, when it comes to the Akane set, there is a fair bit of RNG when it comes to the burst damage on there. So at times, it will look like that card set is not going to be able to outpace these other card sets. But if you do enough runs, you will notice that overall the average is going to always tip in the favor of the Akane set. But that isn't to say that the Bring Some Ice Cream set is not without its merits. This card set is particularly very good on characters that use these two dots, Burn and Chill respectively, in things such as Guild Raid or Immortals or so on and so forth, where their particular dots are necessary, so that way you can increase that overall dot damage. Especially on burn characters in Guild Raid, I could see this being very, very good. The problem is, if you're player that is going to be swapping in and out and tagging in and out with your characters, you're still always going to want to go with a Serena set regardless. So in most instances, this card set is not going to necessarily be a better option than the ones that you currently might have. So keep that in mind. I'm not saying that by any means this is a bad set. This is actually a very good set numbers wise, as you guys could see in this video. It's just that right now there are so many different options out there for card sets that you can probably skip out on this and be just fine. However, if you do, you are going to miss out on this amazing card art, because look at Maxima, he's ridiculous. But anyway, you guys, that is today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Peace.
Continue.